So the first thing on our party agenda would be a switch to the metric system from the standard or imperial system that we currently use in America. And this is because our own healthcare, science departments, and even our military use the metric system because of its international compatibility, since most other countries use the metric system. Right now it's harder to properly communicate between the general public and any scientific, medical, or international group because they are mainly using the metric system, so we think this would be a good idea for a slow and gradual switch to it, probably over a 30-year time period. So the next thing our party would like to see is a gradual reduction of the direct subsidies given to the fossil fuel industry. Right now we sit at about roughly $20 billion per year, and this is a lot of taxpayer money in exchange for adverse environmental and public health impacts. So our party proposes gradually reducing the direct subsidies by about $1 billion a year and giving that amount to renewable energy sectors like wind, solar, and hydropower.
Our next platform issue is that we want to decrease military spending by about 5%, and that'll still leave $670 billion or so left in our military budget, but that gives us $35.26 billion to invest in our other issues, such as switching to the metric system, or environmental regulations, or our other platform issues. Next, we want to have ranked choice voting, which is what Maine is doing currently, and where they have the voters can choose to have a first option, a second option, and a third option, which eliminates the need for runoff elections, which can be very expensive, and it helps bring in more third-party candidates. Next, we want to close tax loopholes by having a flat tax percentage for everyone, 25% income tax rate, and that's it. And then that's all that there is. There's no sales tax or anything, but 25% income tax for everybody, and that's that one. Then next, we'd like to make our foster care system better by putting more money into the foster care system, but specifically for the kids, instead of giving too much money to the foster parents, so that the kids can be able to get any sort of counseling, therapy, and pay for college.
Next up is cheaper medications. Our current system allows pharmaceutical companies to choose whatever prices they want. Drugs are often produced for low amounts and then marked up to hundreds or even thousands of times more than they cost to produce. We propose that these companies are required to declare their research and development costs, and then the prices for those drugs won't exceed a 30% profit margin. Next is in-state tuition for all public colleges. Lots of college students find it really hard to pay for college and keep a minimum wage job while in school, so we propose an in-state college tuition for all people attending the school who are taxpayers. Because of our flat tax above, this change will not affect schools too much because it will be made up in government subsidies coming from the decreased military spending. Next is prison reform, focusing on more rehabilitation than punishment. Currently, the American prison system is overcrowded. America holds 5% of the world's population, and it holds 25% of the world's criminal population. We propose a prison system in which funds go to the prisoners' rehabilitation, education, and counseling. So this way, prisoners will hopefully be able to serve reduced sentences, and hopefully ultimately reduce the cost of keeping prisons, as there will be less prisoners to take care of. And then lastly, a 32-hour cool-off period in between the purchase and distribution of firearms. Waiting period laws prevent gun buyers from taking possession of their weapons immediately upon purchase and completion of a background check. There are delays of days, weeks between the purchase and the date which they can actually have the weapon. So this 32-hour cool-off period will hopefully reduce the number of firearm suicides, and this is backed up by lots of different studies, and some studies even show that it will reduce the number of homicides.
So as far as campaign stops go, we are targeting the youngest demographic of voters. We're going to try to get college kids to vote for us. And what a better way to do that than by throwing massive parties? We're going all out, spending all of our money. We're going to go to the University of California, Santa Barbara, the biggest party school in California, the University of Florida, one of the top party schools in the country, Penn State, another big party school, Michigan State University, biggest university in Michigan, and we're also going to throw a giant party in New York City. There are over 100 colleges and universities and more than 500,000 students. Our message at each of these parties is that the old parties are in the past, we're the future, young people should vote, we threw you a party, so now you kind of have to vote for us. We're gonna put propaganda posters all over the parties, advertising our platform with things like "you can't party without us," "it's party time," etc.